There we go. Nolan, I do appreciate you coming on. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Of course, yeah. The podcast looks sweet. I've been checking it out recently, and it's got a good thing going on.
I appreciate it. And I'm just adding to that right now with this one for sure. I want to start here though, man. What were some early bands that really grabbed your attention with their music?
Yeah, I was thinking about this a little bit earlier. I think like I didn't get into like great music super early. Like some people are like, yeah, I grew up on like Beatles records and stuff like that. Wasn't necessarily the case for me. I think it was like once I turned like 18, 19, I started collecting vinyl. And I remember getting like the Seeds and the Beats. I think that's like a more contemporary band. I think they're called the Beats. Andrew, my friend from Heaters, like he turned me onto them. So it was like the Seeds, the Beats, like White Fence. Some of their first records were big for me and got me into like the jangly, like I don't know, just that like classic guitar sound. Like I just found it super, sounds weird, but like super sexy. Like it just like it, yeah, it just like, grabbed me.
It's not those aren't a bad batch of records to start getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty solid choices there.
Yeah. Yep. And I remember, I don't know, just like 2011 or whatever, like it seemed like it was kind of a heyday for like a garage rock revival.
So through this, you're just discovering new more and more stuff. I mean, like once you get down the rabbit hole, it just keeps on going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it started with like the garage rock and then branching out into like surf and I don't know. I always liked heavier stuff too, like in an older sense, like Zeppelin, and then I don't know, moving forward to more contemporaries, like I remember that band Witch with like Jay Mascis and the dude from King Tough. Like I remember that being like a big record for me when I was first getting into playing music. So yeah, heavier stuff also was important.
What was the first instrument that you picked up initially?
It was guitar. I remember my brother had a Telecaster and I started borrowing that and just got like super addicted. But I started playing late. I started when I was like 18 or 19. So I got just really hooked on guitar. And then like once I started jamming with people, like I always was kind of like I don't know. It seemed like I was always in a position where people wanted me to sing in the band. So I was like, all right, well, I can handle like bass and singing like with my relatively rudimentary skills. That was just kind of like the position that I fell into playing music. So I was always really into guitar, but then like with the bands, a lot of time I was playing bass and I was down. I love that.
Yeah, bass is overlooked. It's not given its due time within the spotlight.
Right.
And it always looks
Yeah.
towards guitar and drums. The bass, you need that.
Yeah. It's important.
It's crucial. It is. So I mean, so at that point of first starting jamming, you're like, all right, I'll pick up the bass and I'll just start to hone in on that.
Yep. Yep. That's kind of how it went. Like I went to uh I went to college in like a really small town and it's in like kind of isolated in like northern Michigan wilderness right on Lake Superior. So it's like it was a really cool group of people. Like everyone was into skating and snowboarding, even surfing up there. And so that's like just a really good group of people that were into jamming. So being in like an isolated spot like that, we played a lot. I got super into it. And then after I graduated from college, I was in touch with my friend Andrew Tamlin, who was also in Heaters. And him and I just linked up and kind of like ran with it. He always had like like when I started jamming, it was a lot of like retro rock and stuff. But then when I started working with Andrew, he always had like kind of a more experimental edge, was willing to go in like weirder directions. So that was pretty crucial for like music writing for me.
Sure. And it in college, I read this. I want to make sure that this is true. You studied journalism. That was your major.
Yes. Yep.
Very nice. Very good. Did that ever bleed in to writing songs at all?
A bit. Like I was interested in like music journalism for a while. Like I don't know. I think I started it was just a yeah, journalism was a cool spot to fuse like I always liked writing and I always really liked music, obviously. So like it was a cool place to kind of fuse those interests. And I always liked writing about music. So yeah, like it made sense. It still makes sense. I think journalism, like kind of doing it right now yourself, like
We're
I don't
doing
know,
it,
it's
Nolan.
an
It's not just me.
undervalued,
It's me and you.
it's collaborative, but it's an undervalued like skill set. I really think it is. So yeah, still have a passion for it.
That's great, man. But you were making music before you went off to college, correct?
Yeah, I think like the first music I was making was again with Andrew. I'll reference him a lot because he's kind of been there every step of the way, still to this day. But yeah, like I don't know, we were into like Animal Collective and shit when we were 18, and so and we weren't personally, I wasn't like really good at my instrument, so yeah, before college it was just like I don't know, banging on acoustic guitars with like drum machines and just making weird stuff, weird noises.
Very experimental, Animal Collective
Yeah.
style. I get it.
Yes.
At one point, did you join Drone Wolves?
Yeah, that was just like my college band. It was like some dudes that were jamming and they had heard that I was into kind of the same type of music, and so I started playing with them. But that was cool. That was like a launching pad. Again, it was like when I started singing and playing at the same time, and we got to do like go play our first shows in like Chicago and in Wisconsin and shit. So that was cool.
Did your time in that band kind of carry on throughout your musical career, like the certain kind of elements of that? Did that bleed through to other projects?
Yeah, for sure. I think the like habits and the things that I learned playing in that band carried on. Like we were all really into pedals and like vocal effects and stuff like that. So that's always been a thing.
Sure. Now, at what point did you decide, all right, I gotta move, I gotta go to Grand Rapids?
Yeah, again, I was like nearing my graduation time from college and I was in touch with Andrew and I was like, dude, let's do something. We should start a band. And Grand Rapids is like, if you're gonna live in Michigan, I think the two creative hubs are Grand Rapids and Detroit. So we just kind of like had some friends there who had like a place we could move into, and we just landed there and ended up like recruiting our neighbor Josh Korf. He was living next door, and we knew he played the drums, and yeah, grabbed him and started going from there.
Gotta grab the people that are closest to you. Like, all right, you're in, man. You gotta be a
Yep,
magnet.
yep,
Crucial.
yep.
But
Snagged him.
you got to. There's just things you got to do to make a band. Did Heaters start in Grand Rapids though? Is that the official location
Yeah,
of it starting? Gotcha.
yep. That's our birthplace. Yeah, and I think like I'm excited. I'm gonna go there tomorrow and see the dudes. Andrew has moved back there, so should have a little reunion. But yeah, that's the spot.
For those who haven't heard Heaters' music, how would you describe it in your own words?
Um, I don't like it. It evolved a bit. It started off like we were into the jangly shit, like guitars with lots of treble and kind of like simple repetitive drum beats. But then from there we started, like, we added another guitarist, and it kind of moved out into like I don't know the best way to describe it. It's, yeah, I don't know, it sucks to say, but just like psychedelic. If someone asks me to describe what kind of music I play, I usually still say psychedelic.
That's just the go-to. That's the
Yeah,
tried and true answer.
it's a good catch-all. It sucks, like, I don't know, there was a period where the phrase seemed really burned out to me, but I've kind of moved beyond that. I think it's still like encompassing, like if someone uses that phrase, I kind of just get it. You get the mental picture of like, okay, like slightly retro, some treble, it's gonna have like some delay. So I don't know, it's accurate.
It's a good umbrella term.
Yeah.
Definitely. When did but the name originally wasn't Heaters, it was Plantains?
Right. We had at first it was called Plantains. It was just kind of like a house band. Like everyone in our house, there was like 6 dudes, and we were all just, we like to play, so we were all together. And then like as we started to get more serious and play more, it was like, all right, we should probably, if we're like really into this, kind of whittle it down a bit. Oh shit, sorry man, I'm getting a phone
No,
call.
you're all good. This is all,
We should just kind of
all the background, you know, we need this. This is crucial.
Yeah.
We're just humans here, Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it just went from like this big house band that we were all into, to like Andrew and I and Josh, we were all just really on the same page, like wanted to do something with it, wanted to give it like an honest effort. And so we just kind of like pulled the Band-Aid off, whittled it down to a power trio, and we were good with that.
It's not bad. Was the original like secondary name, were you guys kind of juggling between the 2 Plantains and Heaters, and then when Plantains fell out, Heaters came in?
Yeah, I think there was some like baggage with the name Plantains. We wanted, spiritually, we were like ready to have a new project come out of it.
It's good.
So
You're prepared.
better brand.
With that name change, I mean, it was just the name change. It wasn't like anything like, oh, now we're gonna change the direction of the music or how it sounds or anything. It was just like same music, different name.
Yep, pretty much.
Got it. Now, where were you guys performing when you guys first started playing around, you know, Grand Rapids? Was there some key spots that you guys were hitting, you know, at least, you know, semi-often?
Yeah, Grand Rapids is really close to Chicago. I think it's only like a, I don't know, hour and a half or 2-hour drive. So I remember we had some early shows in Chicago that were pretty like crucial to us moving forward. So we did a lot of shows in Chicago and Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the University of Michigan is located, and then also Detroit. So we were just kind of cruising around like a line across the state down to Chicago for a while. And then I don't know, we recorded and released a song called Mean Green that people started to get like, that got some attention. And after that, we started doing like full tours around everywhere. So it was nice.
Was that a change in pace for you, like starting to tour and like, all right, well, we're really going for it?
Yeah, it was sweet. It was I think any like 22-year-old who's into music like would, you know, it was kind of, we were doing a lot of tours like around our shitty like jobs, working at cafes or restaurants or whatever. And once it was like we had the opportunity to kind of do it more full time, it was not nobody was hesitating about it. We knew it was like a special opportunity. So that was great.
You got to seize it. That's important.
Yep, gotta ride the wave.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, so you guys are really bouncing around. I mean, early on, before even really quote unquote touring. I mean, you guys were just going back and forth to all these different kind of spots where the music was happening.
Yep, we were putting in the time, packing our big amps into the back of our tiny cars and up and down staircases, and we paid our dues.
Sure, which you have to. You got it. That's the rules.
Yep.
Definitely. Was there a point when you first started recording, because it was first an EP that came out originally? That was the first kind of like little vinyl that came out.
Yeah. Thankfully, I got like some recording. I was able to take like some recording classes in school through journalism, teaching us how to create like audio for a news story. But of course, in my head, I was like, nice, I'm going to learn how to record music. So after that was like, we just created those EPs on like GarageBand with one or two mics. And it was like, I don't know, we loved it. Andrew and I have always been super into recording. So it was sweet.
Was that difficult to try to do what you guys were doing at that time with like the harmonizing and just making sure that everything was nice and neat on two mics? I mean, that sounds like a lot of trying to, I mean, I'm assuming you're tracking it, but it's still a difficult process of like, all right, let me just see where this works for this kind of, especially like the drums or something like that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I don't recall. Difficult is not like something I would associate with recording that type of stuff. It was super like, just, it seemed easy. We were just put all of our time into it and just like banging it out. We had nothing else to do, and we weren't super concerned with how good it sounded. It was just like, nice, it sounds cool. Everything's like blown out, like the drums are like distorted, but just like, nice, I like this. It's the type of music that we listen to. So yeah, it was never I think it got more difficult as you progress. I'm sure most musicians would probably say the same. Like when you're doing those early EPs or demos, it's just all like heart and soul, and then there's more pressure, and then you start thinking and over analyzing it more, and it's still super rewarding. But like those early days when you're just not too concerned, or that's the good stuff.
Freeing. You're not tethered down by anything. Got it.
Yeah.
How did that feel though when the record label's like, all right, let's put it out? You know, was that a big point of like, all right, we're finally getting traction here?
Yeah, it was sweet. I remember like looking back now, like the first songs that the record labels were interested in were ones that we just recorded at home, and to this day, like those are the ones I like feel the best about. But then as you get, you have like a contract and like a due date for a record, and it's like you start, I don't know, as you move further down that rabbit hole, you've got deadlines, and you might like turn in something that you would have spent more time on if it was just you at home. But it's like you gotta move on, you gotta turn something in. So yeah,
it's at some point you gotta have something done, kind of deal.
Yep.
Now, did that amplify the bouncing around and touring once these records started coming out, like the first EPs and LP?
Yeah, for sure. So that's cool. Like there's more expectations placed on you, but there's also more people like in your corner kind of working to help you do your thing. So once we had like a record in the works, it was doing like full US tours, kind of like back to back, and those were good times. Like super, again, like I don't know, weren't thinking about it too much at the time. You're just traveling with your friends, playing the music that you recorded at home. It's like, it's a good situation.
Sure. How do you view it now? Do you view it differently? Like, wow, like that was a really special time?
Yeah, for sure. I just look back on the recording aspect of it as like, I wish we wouldn't have, I don't know, you're young kids. Like I wish we wouldn't have like taken it so seriously. It's like you're you're not in a position at all then to be like assertive about what you want. So it's just kind of like, you just want to like do a good job. It's less of like, uh, I don't know, you're just managing other people's expectations in addition to, creating your art or whatever.
Sure. So you, I mean, you guys are like stern about it, like, oh, we gotta make this perfect and everything has to be this way. It
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
sense. But that's just something you gotta learn sometimes.
Yes, for sure.
And throughout this whole time, you guys are like touring and everything, and everybody. I mean, like you guys spend a lot of time together. I'm assuming throughout this point, like recording and tour. And were you guys living in the same house at that time as well?
Yep. Yeah. So living together, traveling together, working together, lots of time in the van. But I don't know. It was never really an issue. Like we always got along. Had some little like boy fights, like little hissy fits or whatever. But like we were and still are a good partnership.
Relationships have to go through that sometimes to become stronger. Absolutely.
Yeah.
During this time of like kind of as you're talking about before, like Detroit and Grand Rapids and Chicago, and even outside of those places, what was like the oddest place that you guys performed? Like this is quite a interesting, non-conventional place to perform music.
Yeah, like in those early days, you mean?
Sure. Even in the later years, something that pops to mind.
Yeah, I remember when we were just doing like the Michigan circuit, we had like we had a friend who was like a manager at an Urban Outfitters in Lansing, Michigan, which is where Michigan State University is, another like college town. And they were like, we're having like an event at the store. We like heard you're in a band. Can you guys come play? So like we just set up in like the corner of an Urban Outfitters and we're playing for like kind of just like back, like we just did our set like 2 or 3 times, like cycling through it. I remember that being super awkward. And kind of in the same vein, but like and it ended up cool, was the University of Michigan had like an art show or something, and they hired us. And of course, being a big university, they had like a huge budget, so it was the first time we got like paid big bucks to just play our set a few times. And that was like, sweet, this is cool.
Pretty good gig.
Yep, good gig.
I meant the Urban Outfitters one. The Michigan State one that's fine, but Urban Outfitters, that's the one that is coveted. You gotta get to those.
Oh yes,
Very crucial. Yep. What was the process of hashing out ideas for heaters? Was it like, all right, I'm gonna bring my stuff to the table and then somebody else bring theirs and then we'll just kind of merge them all together? Or was it a writing process all encompassing?
Yeah, both Andrew and I, it seemed like we would just go, like we're living together and like whoever had free time would be working on stuff in the basement. And like looking back, I think like I would hear something coming from the basement and be like, that sounds nice, I should get down there. And so like things like that. And then also it just being essentially a songwriting partnership with Andrew and I, we both would have our own ideas and come together and try and fuse them. And we haven't lived together or even in the same city for a long time. So if we're writing music now, it's way different. But at the time it was sweet. I remember just like, like jamming together at home and then like we'd go outside on the porch and like have a beer and like work on our lyrics together and stuff, which was cool. It's like it's not like that anymore. It's all pretty much like from remote locations. So I look back fondly on that.
Yeah. When did you guys realize that like you guys would play off each other, like vocally you guys play off each other very well, or even harmonize very well? Was that early, was an early on discovery, like, oh, okay, this works out well if we do this?
Yeah, I think so. Andrew was always like, I think we were always just a champion for each other's shit. Like I always really liked his voice, and he was always really supportive of my voice. So it was like, I don't know, we had a very supportive and like positive relationship where it'd be like he'd be singing something and be like, I don't like this, and I'd be like, dude, trust me, it's sick. And he would do the same for me. So I don't know, it just kind of came naturally, but also being just like a fan of each other.
It's important. It's important. If you lose sight of that, you got to be fans of whoever else is in your band. You gotta be like, yeah, that guy's a sick drummer or singer
Yeah,
or bassist.
exactly. Yeah.
When you guys went to Europe, was that a huge turning point as well? Where you guys like, wow, like this is bigger than anything else we've done up to this point?
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of like I can die happy moment, just because I remember when I was like a teenager and you're seeing bands you like go play overseas, it seems like such a huge deal. And it is and it isn't, but yeah, like being able to like support yourself by traveling in places you've never been and playing music is that's if you're a musician or aspiring to be a musician, that's like the dream. So it was big for us.
Sure. What was it about, what about that experience was like not, it didn't live up to the expectation for you?
That didn't live up to the expectation.
Yeah, that like it was special, but it wasn't like in that regards.
Oh, well, like, yeah, I mean, it just, when you're starting, it seems so like unattainable, but then as you're going through, like gaining steam, it's just kind of at one point, it's like the logical next step. So at one point, it seems like such an unattainable goal, but then if you just keep working, it's like, all right, well, we're doing this. It makes sense. Of course we are. So yeah. But also like when you're doing like a European tour like that, it you really get an idea of how intense and like grueling the shit can be, like because you're in a new place, you wanna every night you wanna like party, or you just want to, you give it your all, like you're playing your best, you're trying to meet people, and then like you have just a couple hours of sleep and then you got to do it all over again. So like the intensity of touring seems like it's amplified in that situation. I think we all got sick. I know I got sick on pretty much every European tour, and in the last one we did, I ended up in the hospital in the Netherlands. So it's like, got to take care of yourself.
It's important, even if you're not on the road. It's very important. Was it from dysentery or something like that?
I wish that would be nice, but no, it was like I ended up getting like some weird, like it was like a staph infection in my blood somehow, and it just like really fucked me up. I wasn't sure what was going on, and then I went to a hospital in the Netherlands because I was having like fever for days on end, and they told me what was up, and the rest of the band had to carry on without me for like 2 dates. And then after that, they flew home, but I wasn't like, the hospital didn't clear me to fly. So I had to stay in the hospital in the Netherlands as everyone else like finished our last 2 shows and like went home. I was just like, yeah, dying.
Yeesh. Oh man, that's pretty rough.
Yes.
So how long after, what was the time difference between them getting home and you getting home?
I think it was only like 3 or 4 days or something after that I ended up being able to go home. But yeah, it was weird. they had to just like, we had some shows and we made the decision just like just fucking do it. So there's like in our history 2 shows where neither Andrew and I were there because Andrew didn't go on that tour. So it was like Ben and Ryan, who are also in Heaters at this point, but it was just them, no Andrew and I, and then Josh, of course, was playing drums. So that was like a rare like B-side of a set, like alternative lineup.
That's pretty that's pretty good though, that they're like, okay, we have a date. You can't go. That's fine. We got it from here.
Yeah, it was like a surf festival, so it was like, we could cancel, but it sounds really fun, so you guys should do it.
A surf festival in the Netherlands. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to that? I mean, that's a pretty that's a pretty intense thing, just being out in another country just by yourself. Very tranquil.
Yeah, that was gnarly. And then after that was also like I was flying home, and I moved to Montreal like right after that tour. So I was like out of the hospital straight to Montreal. Yeah, it was quite the ending of
What
that tour.
what prompted the move to Montreal?
It's a long, not really a long story. But I met a girl in Montreal after one of our many shows there, and we ended up having a baby. So I moved to Montreal to be a dad.
Perfect.
Yep. But it's been cool. Like we've always been able to collaborate despite the distance and still do recordings and still do shows and stuff. So I haven't been doing shows that really ever since like COVID started. But yeah, like the distance hasn't really been an issue. And especially with Andrew and I, we send a lot of ideas back and forth no matter where each other are at. So we've got the remote working thing. We've got it down.
That's good. Was there a point that the Andrew left the band?
Yeah, it was after during our first European tour, I think at the end he was just really feeling the strain. As I mentioned, like it's really intense, and he's kind of he likes to like be at home in his studio, like working on not only music, but like he's into all sorts of visual art. So I think like, I don't know, he's kind of like I don't know, like Brian Wilson, at one point was just like, you guys go. I really would prefer to just like be at home in the studio working. So that was like a point of contention for a while. Like Josh and I obviously weren't super happy about it, but we were able to like meet up with our other super good friends, Ben and Ryan, and eventually Andrew, like obviously no hard feelings, he came back. So we've gotten to do some shows as like a, what is that, six piece. So went from a 3-piece to a 6-piece, and yeah.
Sometimes you got to double it. That's just what happens in music. What was your initial reaction when he said that? You're like, oh man, like this is gonna be difficult? Or
Yeah, well, just like I was not really in the same page. I would have just run myself into the ground for the rest of my life, probably, like
in a hospital in the
room
Netherlands? Sure.
Yep, put me up. I don't mind. But no, it was good. It was sad because I felt like it dampened like our momentum a bit. It was like, dude, we got a good thing going on. We should just keep doing it. But no, he was right in a lot of aspects of that decision. Like it's important you should prioritize your health, obviously, and like keep yourself in a position to be able to make the art that you're like promoting. Like I don't know, he maybe placed a higher value again on like working on the music at home. He would get tired of playing the same songs. He's like, dude, we're not making anything. We're just repeating. the same stuff over and over every night. So I get that. It was a good lesson for all of us, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of dynamic in that sense, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
But when he broke that news, did it change the the music at all?
I think so, because it like he was half of the songwriting dynamic. So like it definitely did. I think from there we moved into, I don't know, just like, I don't know, embraced other sensibilities, kind of more. I don't know. Andrew was always like he brought in like the weird element. So I think we embraced more like traditional songwriting stuff, like maybe didn't have as many like weird unexpected changes or dynamics, or like our first thought wouldn't be like, okay, this is sounding good, how can I make it like, how can I mangle it in a good way? It was kind of just like, okay, like let's make good, powerful, like beautiful, lush songs. So it changed it in that sense.
Did you did you feel like maybe we shouldn't be doing this, or was there ever a thought in your mind like, well, we're just going to continue to do this just in a different aspect?
Yeah, there was some like practical elements. Like we had another European tour lined up, and I was like, not, we didn't want to bail on that. So there was a practical aspect of like, how can we carry on without Andrew? But never like, I don't know, Josh and I never had the idea of like, well, we can't really keep doing this without him. So we adapted, and Andrew did his thing for a while and still doing his thing, but he's come back into the fold.
That's great. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, really really great tunes you guys are pumping out. I'm glad that it's not over.
Yes, for sure.
Do you feel like there's a distinction between each of the albums? Do you feel like there's like, all right, this is this one and this is talking about this and this feels like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I definitely feel it, like as someone who was involved in creating them. Like they all have very different memories attached to them, but yeah, I think they're just representative of like different times of where we at. Where we were at, there wasn't like a conscious decision of like, all right, this is gonna be our such and such album, this is our concept album. They just kind of like where we were at the moment produced the album.
Do you have a favorite?
Ooh.
I know it's a hard hitting question, Nolan. I know. I've been lobbing you softballs all interview.
Yep, yep. I like the album Matterhorn a lot. It was an album that we made with Andrew. Was kind of like took his sabbatical in the midst of it. So he doesn't like sing on that record, but it was the first time we were taking ideas that we started with Andrew as a trio, and then working with Ben Tabor, who's another guitarist. So it was the first time we like melded those ideas, and it was like a special record for me for sure.
It definitely stands out in like more breathing room, if you will, like instrumentally, like kind of just like, all
Yeah,
right, let's just get, kind of loose in a sense here.
yep, for sure.
I like that one too, but you didn't ask me, but I'm just telling you.
Oh my god, I would never ask you. So
I,
what's your favorite record of mine?
what's your favorite one that I've done?
But wait,
It's
just
tremendous.
quick question. Do you are you in a project, or do you write music as well?
I mean, I play drums. I don't like make music. It's very hard for me to like, all right, let me sit down and try to make this. I play a little bit of bass, so just missing a little bit of the key aspects there. So one day,
Right
hopefully,
on.
we'll see. I'm not opposed to
Yep.
it. when you get out here, and we'll just make one real quick, Nolan. Me and you, just super
sounds good.
super easy. It's like about an hour and a half.
Yeah. No overdubs, just straight to tape.
Yeah. Why would we? There's no need. I know we'll knock it out of the park first try. So there's no, why would I waste anybody's time? You know?
Yep.
Yeah. It's just super easy to make music, and that's what they won't tell you. It's very, very easy process. It's quick. So if any of your favorite artists aren't putting out any music because it's like hard, they're lying to you. It's not.
Yeah.
Being creative is easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Building an engine. That's pretty hard.
Exactly.
One last question here, Nolan. What is the future for Heaters?
Yeah, that's a good question to end on. I am gonna get some drinks with the dudes tonight, and we'll figure that out. But I don't know. In the meantime, like,
this is like tonight. this is it's a pivotal moment leading up to this.
Yes, tonight's the night. Stars are aligning, but I don't know. We're getting back into the groove of sending each other ideas occasionally. So personally, I still record lots of music at home. I have some songs I'm sitting on. So we're getting back into the process of like sending each other stems, as they would say in the industry. So I don't know. We've got no plans. Like, I don't having a child these days, like, I don't have much of an urge to like run myself into the ground because I love music so much. There's more to consider now. So I don't know. We'll see. We all still love to record and perform, but we'll see what shape it takes in the future.
A pivotal moment tonight.
Yes.
I wish you luck. I hope that something comes out of it. I mean, you guys obviously have an hour, so you guys are probably gonna pump out, an album tonight, which would be sick. Can't wait to hear that.
Yep.
Awesome. Nolan, I do like to wrap it up with some promo. So Heaters Music streaming everywhere. So definitely go check that out. Whatever source you use to listen to your music, go listen to it there. There's some great YouTube performances as well. And the Bandcamp's still up, heaters.bandcamp.com. Is it the best place to go? And beyond is beyond.
Yes. Yep. I think all those sites are still the spot. I will quickly plug for the diehard fans out there. Andrew and I have a project between the two of us called the March of Progress, named after a Preoccupation song. That is also like a more recent collaboration between us. We did that over the past couple of years. So if anyone's into Heater stuff, I think you would dig March of Progress as well.
Awesome. Where's the best place that they can go support you through that?
Just your favorite streaming platform.
It's already there. All you gotta do is just click it and play it.
Just press play.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. Awesome, man. Is there anything else we gotta promote before we stop recording here?
No, thank you for reaching out. It was good to talk about music.
Yeah, Nolan, thank you for coming on. Hopefully I will see you, because I know that there's a tour coming up after tonight. You guys are gonna plan it, so I'll see you in about, I don't know, a couple weeks now out here in California.
Yeah, we'll be there soon.
Super easy. All right, Nolan, thank you so much, man. All right, I'm gonna stop recording this. Thank you, dude.
Well, take care. Later, man.